Am I ready? Okay. Hello everyone. We're going to do some glass cutting today. If you're your first time glass cutter or glass enthusiast, we're going to try to give you a few tips to help it easier, make it a little bit easier for your life. First thing on the agenda is safety glass. Always wear safety glasses. Okay, when cutting glass, when grinding glass. What we're going to cut here are these shapes. As you can see, I'm almost finished cutting this one. This is the pattern I made up, and I traced it with a fine Sharpie, and I do that for a reason, and the main reason is the width of the fine Sharpie is almost exactly the width of the heart of the lead that I'm going to be using. So this eliminates cutting out the whole pattern with pattern shears. It kind of is a little bit cheating, but I've been doing it this way for a very long time. It makes it much easier and for me, and I think it's a lot quicker. So first thing is we got our glass cutter. I like a tungsten carbide. There's many on the market today. Tungsten carbide is the superior cutting wheel to make your cutting a lot easier than a hardware store type of cutter, which would work, but there's a huge difference with the tungsten carbide as opposed to a regular hardware store glass cutter that uses a steel wheel. Okay, so we're going to cut on the inside of the black line. Okay, always they say 2 to 3 pounds of pressure. You want straight downward pressure. You don't want to angle the glass cutter right or left, never. Okay, you can angle it back slightly if you wish. I push my cutter when I'm doing patterns like this because I can see where I'm going. So I just go around there on the inside of that line, and I'll just go all the way around. I'm gonna do all my cuts first because just kind of do a little assembly line thing. I mean, if you want to, you can cut and break. It's up to you. Okay, and what I'm doing there, I'm using the Grozer plier. There's, if you notice, a curved jaw and a flat jaw. I put the flat jaw up top, okay? And then just give it a little pressure and break it out. Now, any of these little tiny things here, the reason they're called Grozer pliers is you can just knock these off with your pliers like that. You can use serrations to get the sharp edges off, okay? See this here? You can just get in there. These are great. These are real pointy ones. I haven't been able to find these. I've had these for probably 30 years. I got several pair. Okay, and there it is there. Okay, put our pieces in there. You want to spend the least amount of time on a grinder as possible. You don't want to live on the grinder. So the more accurate your cut is, the less time you're going to spend on the grinder, and you won't end up with grinder thumbs. I see a lot of stained glass people, their thumbs look terrible because they live on that grinder. They're always pushing. It's not good for your joints either. So try to make accurate cuts. I think this is the best way to make the accurate cut is with the Sharpie and stay on the inside of the line. And like I mentioned earlier, they say 2 to 3 pounds of pressure. How do you really know 2 to 3 pounds? We don't have a device that can measure 2 to 3 pounds of downward pressure. Most of us don't. And so what I use is a gauge. There's several things. One is clear glass. Start practicing on scrap clear. If you can get a hold of an old window pane and just start cutting it. And they say to listen to the sound, a hissing sound, which is accurate with window glass. But with stained glass, they come in different hardnesses. Some glass is much harder, some is very soft. And it's a good tool to use clear glass because once you get used to putting the amount of pressure it takes to cut the clear glass and you got that nice hissing sound, it should translate over to the stained glass. Also, the edge of the glass. I'm gonna cut these two out right here and get these freed up from this. These are outside curves, so the outside curves are the easiest. Okay, I'm gonna use this button here. Now that's a 2-degree angle on this button, and that's what it takes to break glass once it's scored, okay? So I put a little pressure there, Then I'll work up towards this curve here. See that slight curve? As I put a little pressure there. And then work out to this one. A little pressure. And then get down here. Okay, get it in two. Now, you want to try to keep your curves as unabrupt as possible. I did go a little extreme with that one. If I came off straight, it would have broke much easier. So you want, if you can help it, depending on the pattern, keep your curves more flowing, not as sharp. Sharp curves are 90 degrees impossible, but you just want to keep a nice flowing curve. Okay, I'm just going to go right around this piece here. This is an opalescent glass made by Wismac. Wismac makes some really nice style. It's classic. It's a classic stained glass. It's been around for years, and it cuts very nice. So I'm going to come back this way. What I'm doing, I use the other hand here, and I can kind of use it as a pivot point, right, as I'm cutting. And like I said, I can use the button. I switch back and forth. You know, I have them both here. For this thin stuff here, I like using the nibblers better, but I can use these things for everything just about, except those big pieces like I was showing you, using the pressure of that button. And it's still 2 degrees with this thing, with the Grozer pliers. Okay, and then, you know, I just give a little like that. My stained glass instructor was an old World War II vet, Iwo Jima vet. I heard stories about Iwo Jima every day, but he was a great glass cutter. He taught me a lot of invaluable things about cutting glass. Okay, now, if we're doing copper foil, you do want to grind these flat because the foil adheres to the flat surface better. This is a little jagged. Okay, with the lead, it doesn't matter too much. I mean, I might have to clean up some of this on the grinder, but I'm not going to have to do the whole thing. All right, that one. Okay, just keep it straight here. You know, you can put one hand down here. It doesn't matter. I'm just working counterclockwise. I'll come off of this here like that, and then I'll just continue it around. Come off the end here. You don't want to stop, you know, part way. You want to keep going. You want to do your cut once. You don't want to keep going over it, okay? If you don't get it the first time, that's why you need to get some scrap glass and have it on hand to practice, and you'll start to learn that pressure. And another indicator that I didn't mention, if you're getting the right amount of pressure, is to look at the edge of the glass, okay? That is a great indicator if you're getting proper pressure, okay? Really, I don't know if you can see this. The light has to catch it just right, okay? But basically, I'll have to draw a picture here just to show you. If this is your glass, I'll over-exaggerate it. You'll have vertical lines like this all the way down. And that's about how far down they should go. If you got vertical lines coming all the way down here, and then you'll get little cracks and stuff, too much pressure. And let's see if I can demonstrate on this piece of scrap. I'll put a lot of pressure. Hear that? Nah, it's not good. Okay, you don't want that much pressure.
You can see that too. See that?
Yeah, see that? That's really bad. And look, it broke down here because what I'm doing, you'll see all kinds of, those lines go 3/4 of the way.
Turn it towards me.
Okay, you don't want that. You want just a nice, I guess you'd say about 1/8 of the way down. And also you can tell by the sound, even though this is opalescent glass. Okay, like that. I can put it on here. See, breaks, pieces on flying everywhere. Now look at this edge. Like I said, this is a good, I'm trying to get the light. Yeah, right there. Maybe you can see it or maybe you can't. I think you can. Yeah, see that? Those little lines don't go much further than about an eighth of the way down. Okay. If you go halfway through like that other piece I just cut, too much. And you can actually hear the amount of pressure going on that. So, all right. Well, this is a little pattern. I use this too. Acetate. This clear stuff. It's a nice tool to have to trace off. And what I'll do is I'll draw a line. Okay. Now you can use a straight edge if you like, if you feel more comfortable. You could freehand it, you know. And leave room, that little bit of gap between the straight edge and the line puts my cutter wheel right on that line. Now when you're cutting long lines, you can pull. You can pull this way. Okay, that's perfectly fine. You can push or pull, whatever gets the job done. Okay, it's just that when you're doing pattern work, if you, I got a nail there, so we got it cut. I got one more here. When you're doing pattern work, you want to be able to see where your cutter's going. So I recommend the push method, but you should know how to do both. It's always a good thing to do both. When you're cutting large sheets, you want to pull. Okay. And they actually have, if you're going to cut a lot of long straight pieces, this is the cutter you want to use as opposed to this. This is more, this is a pattern cutting head. This is a straight cutting head. This is for cutting long straights because it follows, this wider head follows a ruler or straight edge better than that little one. That little one can turn a little bit on you. There you go. And we can break it like that by hand too. Just like I said, the more you cut, the easier it'll become. And I hope I've been a help. And any questions, you can contact me.
In the comments below.
And leave the comments below. Okay, see you next time.